Hello, I'm Lowell Martin, and this is MCC Today. They went that-a-way.
We're turning the tables, rewriting the rules, letting the world know that success is not reserved for the privileged few. Every dreamer, every believer, every fighter has a chance to rise above. Together, we will find your path and change your future. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, at Meridian Community College, you are worth it. Now is your time. Find your wings.
And we are here with the wonderful Miss Bethany Files. How are you doing?
Fine. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Now, you are the program coordinator for practical, no, I'm saying it wrong.
For practical nursing.
Okay, so
yes.
I did
You
get
had
it
it right.
Okay, program coordinator for practical nursing. And that is a very big program here at Meridian Community College.
It is. We are one of the programs that I'm proud to say in the state of Mississippi with community colleges that we are not only just state accredited, but we're nationally accredited. We typically admit 30 students to our program, and we admit in the fall and the spring.
Okay, you do.
Mm-hmm.
So you admit, well, you have to have a certain number of students,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or you can't, and if I'm not mistaken, you can't go beyond that number. Is it like a ratio of teachers to students?
Yes. So we have certain guidelines as far as in the classroom, the lab, and the clinical setting as far as how many students we can have per faculty. And so that's where that number comes in as far as the maximum that we can admit.
Okay, now, so if someone wants to get into your program, what are the prereqs? What do they have to do before they can? Because I tell students all the time, they'll come by the Success Center and go, I got into the nursing program, and I will say, okay, now the real work begins. But so what do they have to do to get into the program?
Sure. So I get the question all the time, what prereqs do I have to have? And so the reality is for the practical nursing program, you technically don't have to have any prereqs.
Okay.
So there are three main ways that someone can be eligible to apply to our program. Number one could be an ACT score. Okay. So with that ACT, they have to have had an overall score of 16 with at least a 12 in math and reading. But for some individuals, they never took the ACT, or maybe they just didn't reach that score. So another option would be something called AccuPlacer.
Okay.
AccuPlacer looks at basic math and reading ability. And so they have to score us a 250 is the score for the math and the reading section there.
Okay.
One thing I do want to let people know is that MCC, if someone has never taken AccuPlacer before, it is free.
It is free.
For that individual they call it admissions, and they can get that testing set up.
It's free the first time they take it.
That's right, and then it's $10, I think, if they want to take it a second time.
And I think, let me throw this out there, they don't have to take every section at one time. I believe they can take like the, math, English, if they want to, if they want to separate them and take them at different times. So, so AccuPlacer or ACT score. Or,
there's one more or. They have to have completed within the last 5 years the following courses, and they have to have maintained at least a C or higher in those. So it's Human Growth and Development, A&P 1 and 2, and Nutrition.
Okay.
And so hopefully with those options, typically for an applicant, they either have that ACT, the AccuPlacer, or the previous coursework. Okay. So once they meet one of those criteria, the other thing that we would need is any transcripts of any, where they completed high school or that they have received, if they've received a GED, we just have to have proof of that.
Okay.
And if they've attended a college, their overall GPA on any of those courses has to be at least a 2.0 or higher. So that is one thing I like for individuals to know. And then they would just complete a college application. So we get questions a lot of times of, well, if I want to come to nursing school, don't I have to do a separate application for the PN program? No, you don't. Just the MCC application, because it has an area on there for that applicant to identify that they are interested in the practical nursing program. And so that's all they have to do.
Okay.
So if they want to start in January, the deadline's October 1st.
Okay.
If they want to start in the fall, which is an August start class, that deadline is March the 1st.
And it's always a good idea not to wait until the last minute to do anything, to do this stuff, because you want to have out exactly, and make sure that you have submitted
That's
exactly everything that you're supposed to submit. It's just really, it hits you hard when you've done everything and there's one thing missing. Now, I know that getting into the program, you have like a blind process, but and you said before on these classes, if they take the classes, they need to have at least a C or above,
That's
right?
correct.
But do they get more points
Yes.
if their grades are higher?
Yes. So we do admit on what's called a point system.
Okay.
So that is how the admissions committee looks, and so the more points an individual has, the higher they're going to be on the admissions spreadsheet. And so our point system is located online. If individuals want to look at that, because if they do have a really high ACT score, if they have a higher Acuplacer score, or if they had A's in those previous courses, then that's going to make their points higher.
If they happen to have had some additional college classes and maintained a good GPA, does that help them too?
Yes, the overall GPA, that's a great question.
Okay.
Overall GPA as well helps with points.
Okay, okay. Now you've been doing this a while. You said you've been teaching
little while.
here at 11 years.
January will be my 11th year here at MCC.
Okay, and so, but you were also you have been a nurse for how long?
So I
mind me
graduated.
asking?
No, that's fine. I had to stop and think. So I completed school to be a registered nurse in 2006.
Okay, okay. So you've been doing this for a while. What drew you to nursing, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, honestly, I'm a believer that God opens and closes doors. And so my initial path in college was not nursing, it was pharmacy.
Okay.
But there was something inside of me that just felt like I needed to do something that was going to allow me to actually interact with people and on a more personal level than a pharmacist.
Okay.
And so the opportunity presented as far as, have you ever thought about nursing school? And I took a leap of faith and followed what I feel like God led me in that direction. And I feel like it is a career that has given me much purpose and the ability to serve others. Even though now I'm not a nurse at the bedside, I have the ability to impact students in the classroom. And so once they become nurses, they are impacting the community. So it's very rewarding.
Well, now, the transition from being a nurse to being a teacher, and you've done that well. But if you're talking to someone who's thinking about, I really don't know what I want to do. I want to do something in the medical field. What kind of people are y'all looking for?
Well, I will say this, nursing is not what you see on TV. A lot of times individuals think, oh, this certain show that's being on, that just looks fun. Nursing is fun and rewarding, but it is also a very demanding. You have to have care and compassion in your heart. You have to want to talk to people. You have to want to touch people. And it's not for everyone.
Right.
But at the same time, it gives you the ability to serve others, and it's very rewarding. So sometimes I tell applicants as they come in and they think they're interested, they may want to consider something like we have a healthcare assistant program. So they may want to start out at that first just to make sure that this is something they really want to do as far as being at the bedside and taking care of a patient before they further their education for practical nursing.
Okay. Well, listen, I want to thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for
I want to
having
have
me.
you back. Okay?
Okay,
We'll be right back.
thanks.
MCC costs less and gives you more. Are you ready to jumpstart your career but don't have the time for a traditional 4-year degree? Meridian Community College can have you workforce ready in as little as 1 semester. We have workforce programs ranging from 1 semester to 2 years with experienced instructors and hands-on training that will help you gain the skills you need to succeed and start earning a paycheck sooner. Find your wings at Meridian Community College.
And we're here today with the wonderful Miss Kristi Williamson. How are you doing?
I'm well, and you?
Yes, I'm doing really well. It's been a good day. Now, I wanted Kristi on the show because you are, what is your official title?
Director of Library Services.
Okay, she is the Director of Library Services. I'm the Director of the Student Success Center. We recently had a big change where we are in the same building.
Scary
and not only
thought.
are we in the same building, we're in the same big room.
We are.
Her office is directly across the room from mine, so I get to see her all the time. But we've made some changes. What changes have we made inside the new Learning Resources Center, Success Center Library? We haven't really decided on. A name
Yeah.
hasn't really stuck yet.
Well, we have one. I don't think it's been, maybe it's not official yet.
Okay.
But it's not Soar Center. It's,
No.
It's about this long. I'll have to get back with you on that. But,
Okay.
however, some of the changes, advising has moved in. We have the circulation desk now where it's good. Some days a logistical nightmare, but it works as a hub for all of us. We have someone for the phone, and you can get your student ID. Now in the Todd Building, Success Center is on the right when you go in. Used to that was the whole. Used to just the library, all the.
Right.
What, 50-something shelves? I don't know.
Yes.
So we
magazines, newspapers,
got all the things, right?
50 million books.
Right,
Yes.
right. So duplication has now been moved upstairs. So,
Yes.
that used to be downstairs, and we have that up there now. We've done,
Now, the library contracted by about half.
correct.
Right?
Correct.
And so to give us the space, to give us that right side.
So kind of us.
It was very kind
You're
of you.
welcome.
Although, it's like there's not a set line between, because it's just, everybody's going all over. Y'all have study rooms on your side.
do.
And so it's just free flowing.
Correct.
And I think it is much more of a learning resources center.
Oh, absolutely. I think so too.
Than before.
And I think we all work seamlessly together to help out, or we don't just stay on our imaginary side
Right.
of the room,
Right.
for lack of a better term. So
But we're having fun doing it. It really is a lot of fun.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and I wouldn't say even unexpectedly so. I knew it would be a lot of fun.
Oh, no doubt. How long have we been looking forward to this?
A long time,
Right.
2 years
Right.
at least. Now, we've made changes, and we're kind of all pretty much together now. Do you foresee any additional changes, any additional things that that you might like to see?
Long term, short term?
Long term. Let's go long term.
Only thing that my plan, or our plan, Kathy and Dana and my plan was to initially, anything that the students need, I wanted to provide, house whatever would make students successful. So I don't know what that would look like long term, as far as, I know that we were updating, let's just say our fiction section, we're starting there, because when we had to half the library, we had to half the books, so we still got, 25,000 books. However, with COVID, I came in right in the heart of COVID, so
You did.
there was no activity, no whatever. So now we're getting books, we're updating, and we're updating. Another thing is our Libby collection. That's a new thing, and I don't see that going away. That's really caught some traction lately. Like the usage is our ebooks. I get a lot of requests, and I'm thankful for that.
I will say, and I used to just say that, just blanket statement of young people don't read anymore. Young people don't read anymore, but that's not true.
They do.
I've seen so many come in, and so many, take advantage of and actually get a physical book out,
Right.
and go through it and read it. It's been very. I love seeing this.
I do too, and like looking out our window, I love all the furniture, and so 9 times out of 10, they either they've got something in their hands, whether it be a book or a laptop or something. So
I
that's
loved the
that's
library,
refreshing.
but the old furniture was from the 70s. And needed to be updated.
And needed to stay in the 70s.
It needed to stay in the 70s.
I'm grateful.
And as you said, with your staff, that y'all are very student-oriented, student-centered, and we, of course, are in the Student Success Center as well. And I think that we have that in common, is we don't send students away. If
Absolutely
they come
not.
in with a question, I'm not going to send them all over campus, and just say, okay, that's not my job, or that's not whatever. And we both are of that mindset.
For sure,
of,
for sure.
Hey, we're going to the best of our ability,
Correct.
answer your question.
Right, correct. Another thing that was positive, I think, this year is thinking about people going all over across campus. The first 3 weeks, James Runnels from IT came, and chose to stay in there for 8 to 12 every day,
Right.
And just to help students with reset passwords or or staff included, anything that they needed. I thought that was I enjoyed that. I was thankful for that, because I was also student driven, because of course they're all, they're all the way across campus, so that would have been
And it has done
Correct.
my heart good to see, because we are so much more centrally located
Correct.
than where y'all were always there, but Success Center, we are so much more centrally located that students will just come in and they're like, oh, I was just walking around and I thought I'd come in here and do a little studying.
right. And
I've been waiting
and they're
for
all
years.
complimentary. They all love it.
All complimentary. They're all, and as I said, I think we're managing to mesh well together, because first off, you come in there, you're going to laugh.
Correct.
Because we enjoy
Right.
laughing and humor, but we also, and I will say this about all of us, I think we're all really hard workers.
For sure. I think so.
And you've surprised me. She surprised me a couple of times, because the student would have like an issue with a computer, and I'd be like, well, let me call IT, or because I don't know it, and she'd be like, oh, I'll look at it, I'll do it, and then I fixed it. Well, okay.
That's one of those things too, being an educator and being I've worn a lot of hats or whatever, and that's
Sure.
another thing I've loved, is seeing students again and interacting with them and building relationships, because if kids know that you love them and you're going to help them, they're going to come back, and whether it's a change my password or help me with research or whatever it may be, and if we're not about the students, then why are we here?
That's right.
If you do not invest in them and tell them and show them that you love them, whatever we do is just a byproduct. Does that make
That's
sense?
right. It makes complete sense.
Right.
So what do you think of MCC as a whole? You've been here how long now?
Since December of 20.
Okay.
So, what's that? Almost 3, 4 years?
Almost 3 years.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so how has it been here?
It's been surreal at times. Honestly, when we were in Montgomery, it was tough, because I was idle a lot, and that,
And we had no books in the
I had
library.
no
There were no books.
And there were times I probably wanted to just scrub with a toothbrush, the baseboards
Sure.
with a toothbrush. But anyway, I've loved every day at MCC, in all fairness. I really have. The people have really, especially stepping into this role. I mean, I did write a few thank you notes to some people, but in every facet that I've had to interact with and learn all the new things, everybody's extended such grace. So, and for that, I'm grateful. So, in all my years' experience, I've never witnessed such grace across a whole, in everything,
it really
and
is.
kindness. Because I would go in, I'm claiming the new kid status here, I need to know how to do X, and they would just laugh, whatever, but they would help me. So,
Well, listen, thank you so much for being on the show today, and I want to have you back.
maybe. Maybe.
Hold your cards close to your chest.
Right?
Appreciate that. But thank you for being on.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
We'll be right back.
Not essential. Never let anyone tell you that again. Never doubt your abilities to make a difference. How do I know this about you? Because I'm a teacher. I am the one who will push you harder and farther than you could have ever imagined. Teach you things that you never thought possible. And if you will give me 100%, then I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you, and together we will change your future. MCC, find your wings.
And we are here with the wonderful Mr. Brandon Dewease. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Now, every time you come on, your title changes. Has it
feels
changed?
that way. It has not.
okay.
Associate Dean of Student Engagement.
Okay, but is there a Dean of Student Engagement?
There is a dean and there is a vice president of engagement.
Okay.
And I work for that dean. She responds to that vice president of engagement.
Okay.
Associate dean of student engagement. It's a hodgepodge.
There you go. There you go. So and as I say, you are in charge of an interesting smorgasbord
That's right. That's right.
of stuff. But you are literally also one of the most busy people I've seen, because
Well.
first off, every time I ask him to come on the show, he'll be like, I'm in a meeting.
Accurate. Sorry, it is.
He'll be like, I'm in a meeting, I'm in a meeting, I'm in a meeting. But then you make special arrangements
We work it out.
to come down and do
We
this.
do, yes, sir.
But what kind of stuff do we have going on that you
All
have
right.
been
Yes, sir.
a part of?
We managed to stay busy.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So I came here 5 years ago specifically in recruiting, and that grew to now include recruiting, housing, student activities, and when we have written communication that goes out to a student from student affairs, that generally comes through my office, and I, put a little bow on things. We have tons of stuff going on. On the recruiting side, Lowell, 'tis the season of college admission, right?
Yes, yes.
One of the things, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And I was going to say, I see all the Ivy League recruiters
right.
that are out and about and showing
right.
the campus and
Yes, sir.
bringing students and their parents typically through.
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness.
That's right. So we select those students in the spring of every year.
Mm-hmm.
We train in the summer. They help us work our liftoff sessions, which is MCC's version of orientation.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are ready to go as soon as school starts in August. Right now, Mandy and her team, they are going and visiting our local high schools. And in small groups, large groups, they are doing applications. So this year's high school seniors are applying for fall 24. So we get hundreds of applications in that regard. And because everybody applies, we continue to recruit those students.
Yes.
We recruit at events, we recruit through email, through text message. The process doesn't stop. So that's on the recruiting front. As we speak, while we're recording, on the activity side, we are in the middle of Fall Fest.
Yes.
And the main event is going on right now. So there are a dozen of those green tents set up outside. I saw a lot of very sweet things that were, they had been cooked and they're sitting out on tables. And as soon as I leave
waiting
here,
for us
right?
to come and
Absolutely.
give our money for them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So there, you can go and have lunch at an event like that. You can go throw a pie at somebody's face at an event like that. That was one of the booths that I saw.
Okay.
I saw popsicles. It's just a good time.
Okay, we're going to have to end this soon so
I
I can
know.
get out there.
I'm starving to death, right? Starving to death.
When you first started here, did you foresee where you would be right now?
I specifically did not. I didn't. No, sir. I came here. My personality, the things that I enjoy. They say, do something that you love, and it'll never feel like you work. I am really people focused. I enjoy engaging
I hadn't
with
worked
folks.
in 27 years.
That's fantastic.
I haven't worked in 27 years.
That's great.
Yes.
I love that. I just knew that I was an educator by trade, so I taught high school. I actually taught elementary school for a while. People don't know that.
Okay.
And I knew that I wanted to help students, and I knew that I loved MCC. This was natural, and I believed that I would be in the vein of just recruiting for my career here.
And you were happy with that?
I was.
That would have been, been
I
perfect.
was.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But
When
you are good at something,
we'll see.
they add things to it.
We'll see.
If you're good at your job, they
Well.
say, well, hey, let's add this little thing here and this little thing. And I'm not saying they don't do it in a, hey, let's get rid of it, but they do it in, I think you'll be good with this.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed
I've been
it.
schmoozed that way
Right?
many times.
Right?
They're
That's
like,
it.
hey, I think you'd work really well on this committee.
Absolutely.
And oh.
Absolutely. Somebody's in the back just ringing the cowbell. Hey, that sounds like a great idea. Anyway, it's good.
Now, did you think, because I was very impressed with the liftoffs this summer, and I thought that, I was like, I think we're getting there.
Sure.
And it is a constant, we change things.
For sure.
But because I remember the times when orientation literally took all day and
Yes,
people
sir.
were gnawing their own legs off
That's
to get
right.
away.
That's right. Yes,
And we
sir.
don't do that anymore.
That's right.
Do you see any changes that might be coming up next summer that you can talk about?
I'm not positive of how much we will change. I want to say this. When we bring up that orientation model and the way that we do that, I really want to be sure that we extend credit to Mandy Hurt
Yes. Oh, yes,
and
yes,
her
yes,
staff.
yes.
Mandy and I work closely together. She's the director of our recruiting staff, and I help in whatever way that I can with Mandy. What we know is that students who engage in an on-campus experience for orientation, they retain at higher rates. So we appreciate the model. We're all coming out of the COVID fog, and we appreciate the model of being able to bring those students back to our campus, but we do want to give them a succinct, focused event. I'm not sure that I see great changes on the horizon, but you know what? The continuity of thought across, like I said, I've been here for 5 years, and I've seen 3 or 4 versions of orientation. And when we create longevity with our employees and the folks that are managing those events, I think we get better and better at them.
I was very impressed that we were including the parents in so many things.
Yes, sir.
Because there were a number of years where it was literally where we tried to, kind of separate them away.
Absolutely.
But we are saying, no, y'all all come.
That's right.
Everybody come.
That's right. And we want the parents to be there, but the students have things that they need to go and do.
Sure.
And the parents, we provide for them a session that they go to. This is my absolute favorite moment of every liftoff session, is there's a moment of hush when we call all the groups of students and everybody leaves the theater, and I'm only left with what I call, moms, dads, aunts, uncles, and Uber drivers.
Yep.
I don't know how those folks end up here, but I acknowledge them, and there's always a brief moment where I get to say, congratulations, you got them here. It makes me emotional now. Genuinely, it's a moment where they breathe in the success of having made it safe thus far.
Yes.
And then Miss Nidra Bradley and her folks, they put on a really good information session for the parents.
Yes.
It takes a village.
It takes a village. Listen, I want to thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
I enjoy being here.
We'll be right back.
Thank you to the teachers for encouraging me when I wasn't sure where to start, for seeing my potential even when I didn't, for inspiring me to reach farther and try harder.
Thank you, MCC. You helped me change my future.
Find your wings at MCC.
On behalf of executive producers Matt Milner and Tanisha Clark, media mogul Josh Taylor, and student producer Justin Humphrey, thank you for watching. Hope you learned a little bit. See you next week.